Hello, everybody. Hey, it's Daniel here, and welcome to Emotional English. Emotional English, it's the podcast about English learning, where we learn an English language effortlessly, emotionally, filled with energy, and of course, positively. Welcome, everybody. So another day, another chance to learn English, right? And today I have prepared a great topic for you guys. We continue our reading. So we read the Alchemist book, right, by Paulo Coelho. And today is another episode about reading this beautiful book. One day we'll finish this book for sure. So probably that's going to happen this year. So I'm trying to be more consistent, and I will upload 2 episodes every week. And with this pace, I think the reading club will be more productive, okay? So, you remember the story of Alchemist, right? We have a boy with a flock of sheep, right? And he's thinking, he's traveling, he loves the girl, and we continue our story. So, the last words we finished, it was like somebody, like the father gave the boy blessings. The boy could see in his father's gaze a desire to be able himself to travel the world and everything. So the boy was thinking about father's education, about father's knowledge and everything. And he became a traveler, right? He became a traveler who is traveling around with a flock of sheep and opening the new things in life, right? And we continue, right? So we continue. In reading club, I'm reading the part of the text. It's a direct quotation. It's a direct text from the book. And then we discuss the new vocabulary, which we stumble upon. And we kind of plunder, right? Thinking deeply. We contemplate. And then, so we simplifying the hard vocabulary with something simple, with simple version. All right, so let's start our reading practice. The horizon was tinged with red, and suddenly the sun appeared. So when something is tinging, or, the horizon was tinged here, it means changing the color, or had a color of something, right? So, and the horizon was tinged with red, right? When the sun rising, appearing, so you see that the sky changes the color, right? And we have the horizon, right? This line somewhere very far away from you, visible line, right? You call this line the horizon, and this horizon tinged with red, so had a color, new color, all right? And this color was red. So the horizon became red. And suddenly the sun appeared. So right after the horizon was tinged, so the sun appeared right after that. Okay. The boy thought back to that conversation with his father and felt happy. He had already seen many castles, met many women, but none the equal of one who awaited him several days hence. So, in this case, we discuss just thoughts, right? The boy thought back to the conversation with his father. We discussed this conversation earlier in the podcast. And the boy felt very happy because he had chosen something he really admires the most, right? He had already seen many castles, met many women, many people, right? So because he's a traveler, right? He had seen the perfect tense, past perfect tense. He had seen many castles, many buildings. He met many women. He had met many women, good women, but none of the equal of the one who awaited him several days hence. So in this case, so he wanted to meet that girl. Remember, he was he had a crush on a girl, and that girl is not an equal one, right? So equality means the same, but in this case, uh, all the women he had met. Um, so uncomparable, right? So, and yeah, that's the thing. And several days hence, it means from that moment, he when the guy had met the girl, he had a crush on her. He had crush on her, and then several days hence from that day, he still have this feeling that that girl was special. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Hence, it's the logic. It's when you say hence, you describe the logic, which goes, what do you think, right? For example, the skies are beautiful. They are blue. Hence, I like to look at it because, right? Because, hence, whatever. Or another usage, we discussed the hence word several days hence. It means from that moment, right? From that exact moment, right? That's, from this point, right? From that point, you met the girl. He met the girl. He met the girl, and from that point, hence, he still has the same idea, right? He owned a jacket. The boy owned a jacket. A boy owned a book that he could trade for another book, and a flock of sheep. So the boy had three things: jacket, book, and a flock of sheep. You remember what is a flock of sheep? It's this big amount of sheep, right? Meh, this is the sheep. So when you have several of them, you call it a flock of sheep, right? And he had a book that he could trade for another book. So finally, maybe he had finished his book and he wanted to trade and exchange his book for another one. So, but most important, he was able every day to live out his dream. Most important, he was able every day to live out his dream. What does it mean to live out your dream? All of us have dreams, right? Live out your dream means something big, because you can live in your imaginary world, right? Or you can go for your dreams, achieve your dreams, and that's the point. When you're living your dream, living out your dream, you try to do something, right? Do something that you really want, but you know that it's like a fantasy, right? That's the point. It's like a little bit idiomic here, right? So when we're living out our dreams or fantasies, you do what you want, but you understand that what you're doing is not very realistic, right? You thought that it's not possible. For example, right now I have almost 6,000 subscribers on Yandex Music. For me, it's a big number. I've never expected that. So I lived out my dreams, right? I did what I could, right? And you know what? Right now, I am very happy to have all of you guys here. And that's great to discuss and speak aloud what I think about the language. And I know that you guys listening to the podcast and you have some good results. Some of you writing me every day. And it's really good. It's very big win for myself, right? So when you live out your dreams, you try to do something that you really want, but you didn't think that it was possible, right? You're becoming a better version of yourself, right? They're living out their showbiz dreams, or, it's a good idiom, right? So you go from your past experience, right, to something new, right? It's another usage of this idiom. You looking for bigger things, right? For freedom, probably. It's another usage. And probably in the context we have here is about living the life full of freedom, right? So our boy, he was living out his dream, right? And that was pretty big because it's important to live out your dream or the boy's dream because you feel free. You feel that nothing controls you. You're not that. How you call that? 1 second. Dependent, right? You're not dependent anymore. So you live your dream. You do what you should do, right? If he were to tire of the Andalusian fields, he could sell his sheep and go to the sea. So it's like the proof that he's living out his dream. He lives free lifestyle. So he could be tired, right, of this traveling Andalusian fields. He could just sell the sheep and go to the sea to travel deeper, right? By the time he had enough of the sea, he would already have known other cities, other women, and other chances to be happy. In this case, by the time he had enough of the sea, so when he had fulfilled himself, right, with the sea, he would already have known other cities, other women, and other chances to be happy. So it means if something is going wrong here with the boy, if something would go wrong, he would have a possibility to go and find something else. So it means if you have a goal and the goal failed, there is still plenty of things you can do to become a happy person. And he was like fantasizing about this, He's saying that I couldn't have found God in the seminary, he thought, as he looked at the sunrise. So he was looking at the sunrise. He was thinking, contemplating about life, about God. And he couldn't have found God in the seminary. Yes. So you remember that the guy, this boy, he had studied at the seminary school, like a God school, whatever, to become a pope, right? And he rejected that way. So he became the guy who is walking with sheep, right? Yeah. He couldn't have found God in the seminary. He thought, and he looked at the sunrise. So just a description from the author here, right? Yes, so that's all. That's the first paragraph we had discussed. I will read this paragraph one more time with more clarity, without stops, and maybe you will have a picture of what's going on. I'll try to do very slowly reading and without comments right now, okay? The horizon was tinged with red, and suddenly the sun appeared. The boy thought back to that conversation with his father and felt happy. He had already seen many castles and met many women, but none of the equal of the one who awaited him several days hence. He owned a jacket, a book that he could trade for another, and a flock of sheep. But most important, he was able every day to live out his dream. If he were to tire of Andalusian fields, he could sell his sheep and go to the sea. By the time he had had enough of the sea, he would already have known other cities, other women, and other chances to be happy. I couldn't have found God in the seminary, he thought, as he looked at the sunrise. Yes, it's all kind of the inner work here, right? So our shepherd, the boy, the shepherd, he's thinking about life He contemplate. He thinks deeply what's going on with him. He analyzing his experience, right? And he see the horizon changing the color, right? From red to brighter color. And suddenly the sun appears, right? And then you kind of think very deeply about your life, about your dreams, about is it possible to live out your dream, to live freely like you want. And the boy realized that his father wanted his life to be connected with the God and seminary, but he couldn't have found God in the seminary. So he had chosen his path of a shepherd. Shepherd is an opportunity to live out your dream because it's a freedom. You do whatever you want because you have a flock of sheep, you have a jacket, and you have a book. Nothing else you need to be a shepherd. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Let's go to the next paragraph. Whenever boy could, he sought out a new road to travel. He had never been to that ruined church before, in spite of having traveled through those parts many times. Right? So the first word here is sought out a new road to travel. So the boy, he sought out a new road to travel. He always was looking and finding a new road to travel. Sought out, it's a past tense from seek out. When you're seeking out something, you looking and you finding what you want, right? So whenever the boy could, he was looking for a new road to travel because it's more interesting to travel with a new road than old road, right? So he sought out a new road to travel. Every time he travels, he's seeking out a new road. He had never been to that ruined church before because he sought out a new road and he had found a ruined church when he had a sleep. Remember, he had slept there. In spite of having traveled through those parts many times, right? So in spite of, it means you can say in spite of having traveled through those parts many times, you could choose the same road again and again and again, but he had decided the opposite direction. He sought out a new road to travel every single time, right? So he traveled many times with pretty the same maneuvers, right? But he's looking for a new experience, and that's why he's doing and going through new road every single time. The world was huge and inexhaustible. He had only to allow his sheep to set the route for a while, and he would discover other interesting things. So in this case, the world was huge and inexhaustible. It means you can't be tired of your travel if you always seek out a new road to travel, right? That's why it's inexhaustible. When the world is exhaustible, you just go using the same route again and again and again. And this is exhausting. You are getting tired because of that, right? But if something is inexhaustible, you're not getting tired because it's inexhaustible way, right? When you're seeking out a new road to travel every single time, it's inexhaustible, right? You have no exhaustion, inexhaustible. And why this kind of road was inexhaustible? Because he had only to allow his sheep to set the route for a while, and he would discover other interesting things, right? That like a explanation why the world was pretty inexhaustible. He allowed his sheep to set the route for a while. It means he didn't plan his route. Route, it's like the way you're going, right? The road. So he had given this decision to the sheep, and the sheep were setting the route, and he was following his sheep, and for a while, the sheep were making the route, right? And he would discover other interesting things. So the sheep were like providers of an experience, right? And while the sheep is making the route, he's looking around, he's analyzing, and making his life more and more interesting. Okay. The problem is that they don't even realize that they are walking a new road every day. They don't see that the fields are new and the seasons change. All they think about is food and water. Yeah. So there was a problem there, right? The problem, what they had, that they're walking a new road every day. That's a new problem. The only problem they had. They don't see that the fields are new and the seasons change. So they don't see that that's something new happening, right? And they didn't think about season change, about the weather change. They had only two ideas while they were traveling with sheep, right? Two ideas: food and water. Okay, nothing else you need if you're a real traveler. So you're like a minimalist. You think only about two things: food and water. And that's why the life is pretty inexhaustible, because you're full of new experience, right? When you have a routine-ish lifestyle, your life is pretty exhaustible because you have the same day after day. You wake up early, you do something, your routine. And, when you do the same thing again and again and again, yes, you're becoming better at this area, at this field, but you are exhausting yourself. You're like, I'm sick of it. I don't want to do this anymore. And the same thing can happen with your English, by the way. When you're doing something again and again, the same routine, it exhausts you. Your body is exhausted. You don't want to learn English. That's why I don't like books, because they teach you the same technique like again and again and again. I want you to promote the idea that you need to practice your English differently every single time. Like this beautiful shepherd, you're looking for the way of your language progression every day, like a new route, okay? You're not doing something the same. Okay, you can practice something the same, but you're trying to expand your variations to never be sick of the route, okay? So you should be inexhaustible. The road or route you're using should be inexhaustible with your English progression. Let's go to the rereading of the second paragraph, and then I'll go to the third paragraph. Whenever he could, he sought out a new road to travel. He had never been to that ruined church before, in spite of having traveled through those parts many times. The world was huge and inexhaustible. He had only to allow his sheep to set the route for the while, and he would discover other interesting things. The problem is that they don't even realize that they are walking a new road every day. They don't see that the fields are new and the seasons change. All they think about is food and water. Okay? So let's go to the next paragraph. We have two more paragraphs to go today, and let's go. Maybe we are all that way, the boy mused. Yeah, when you're musing, you're thinking deeply, contemplating, the same. So maybe we're all that way. That's how we all live, the boy mused. The boy thought deeply, contemplated, right? Maybe we're all that way, the boy mused. Even me. I haven't thought of other women since I met the merchant's daughter. Again, he's thinking about that particular daughter, merchant's daughter, right? Merchant, it's an old way of saying the seller, right? Merchant was selling goods in the old times, right? So there was a merchant daughter, and our shepherd, the boy, had a crush on that daughter, on that girl. And he tried to compare, but that daughter was the best, even never equal, right? Never equal. So looking at the sun, the boy calculated that he would reach Tarifa before midday. Okay, that's pretty obvious here, right? He he could analyze the sun position and make an approximate estimation of the time, right? He calculated that he, the boy, would reach Tarifa, the city he's going, before the midday, before 12 p.m. Midday, it's 12 p.m. There, he could exchange his book for a thicker one. Thicker means bigger, a fatter book, right? Thicker book. And exchange means to give your previous book and get the new one. Exchanging, right? I give you ruble, you give me the dollar. It's an exchange, right? I give you the money, you give me the good. I give you my old book, you give me the new book, right? So I'm exchanging the book. And the boy, he could exchange his book in the city of Tarifa. And he could fill his wine bottle, shave, and have a haircut. He had to prepare himself for his meeting with the girl, and he didn't want to think about the possibility that some other shepherd with a larger flock of sheep had arrived there before him and asked for her hand, the girl's hand. Again, the boy had a plan to meet the girl with his good look. How to organize this good look? He needed to shave, to have a haircut, and he had a plan to have all these things done in the city of Tarifa. Okay. So, and he wanted to refill his wine bottle. So you see, he is a little bit drinker. But you need to understand that in old times, wine was not that alcoholic. So the amount of alcohol in the old time wine was very little. So it was like a juice, a little bit of alcoholic juice. It's like nowadays we drink kvass in Russia. So kvass is like it has the same amount of alcohol as the old style wine. Okay, just make this in your mind, because some people, they don't understand that the wine now is completely different drink than the wine a long time ago. So the boy, he was refilling wine bottle, shaving. It means removing the hair from the face. It's called shaving. And have a haircut, right? He had a haircut. He had planned to have it. He had to prepare himself for the meeting with the girl. Why he should do all of these things? Because if he didn't, so the chances are very high that another shepherd would come with a larger flock of sheep and with a more beautiful look, right? He doesn't want that. He doesn't want another shepherd arrived before him and asked that girl her hand. Asking for her hand, it means to get married. He doesn't want another shepherd to get married with his crush. Okay. And remember, what is the crush? Crush is the person you like the most. That's your crush. Let's read this paragraph one more time to revise without the comments now. Maybe we are all that way, the boy mused. Even me. I haven't thought of other women since I met the merchant's daughter. Looking at the sun, he calculated that he would reach Tarifa before midday. There he could exchange his book for a thicker one, fill his wine bottle, shave, and have a haircut. He had to prepare himself for his meeting with the girl, and he didn't want to think about the possibility that some other shepherd with a larger flock of sheep had arrived there before him and asked for her hand. Okay, let's go to the next paragraph. The last paragraph, last but not least. It is the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting, he thought, as he looked again at the position of the sun and hurried his pace. So what's the point? The boy is looking at the sun. Just imagine this. The boy is standing on the ground, looking at the sun, because it's a beautiful time. The sun had just appeared. And the horizon tinged with red, and then this red color just disappearing moment after moment. In this moment, the boy is thinking. It's all this description is his thinking process, right? And it's a possibility of having a dream comes true, he thinks, right? That makes life interesting. Yeah, you have this challenge in life, You go and you explore, you have a possibility to meet a girl you really wanted. And he thought, he looked again at the position of the sun and he hurried his pace. What does it mean, hurrying the pace? It means you're trying to move faster, right? Hurrying up and improving your pace. When you're running, you have the pace time, right? The pace rate, for example. You can go the specific amount of meters by 1 minute, right? And let's say your pace is 5 minutes per 1 kilometer. When you're hurrying your pace, you're making it faster, like 4 minutes, 30 seconds per 1 kilometer. So you're hurrying your pace. You're making it faster, right? You're improving your timing because he wanted to meet the girl ASAP as soon as possible. That's why he's hurrying his pace. He had suddenly remembered that in Tarifa, there was an old woman who interpreted dreams. Yeah, he had one more idea here. He remembered one more detail, that in Tarifa city, there was an old woman who interpreted dreams. Interpretation, it's like describing something, right? So the woman can describe your dream, and she could describe the dreams, right? It's a really cool opportunity when the woman who can interpret the dreams describe you the dreams. For example, you had a dream, there was a snake in your dream, and the woman can describe you what this snake means to you, right? It's an interpretation of the dream. And that old woman, maybe she's a witch, maybe she's a how we call it, like a prophetic dream teller, like a how we call it, fortune teller, right? Fortune teller. That's the woman who can see the future, who can see what's going on in your life. So the boy had another idea about this woman. Okay, that's the last but not least paragraph. Let's read it one more time, and then I will conclude with full reading of all these paragraphs all together. All right? It is the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting, he thought, as he looked again at the position of the sun and hurried his pace. He had suddenly remembered that in Tarifa, there was an old woman who interpreted dreams. Okay? So we had finished the whole part for today. I would announce the new vocab, what we had discussed here. Comment this again and read the full text one more time. Okay? So the horizon was tinged with red. It means, had a new color, right? Tinged with red, had a color, beautiful color, tinging. Several days hence, in this context, what we had in the text, it was like a logical point of the past. So from that moment, several days hence, several days from that point, to leave out your dream. In this context, I think it's more connected with living the free lifestyle, right? The boy was able every day to live out his dream, to live the life he wanted, the free lifestyle, to seek out or sought out a new road to travel. It's like looking for and finding a new road to travel. In spite of having traveled through those parts many times. So no matter that you travel the parts of the land many, many times, you find something new, right? For example, the ruined church was there in spite of having traveled through those parts many, many times. Inexhaustible, right? The experience can be inexhaustible. The world was huge and inexhaustible in the text. So it means you're not getting tired, right? It's inexhaustible. The route for a while, the route, it's like a road, right? If you imagining the navigator, and the navigator shows you the route, how to go somewhere. So this directions is your route, the way to go. The boy mused for a moment. Mused, it's like he thought, he contemplated about something. You're musing, right? Thinking deeply about something. And the last word here, you hurrying your pace. The boy hurried his pace, so increased his speed to go somewhere, right? And I think that's all vocab we had in the text. So I hope it was pretty understandable. Yeah, I can make some mistakes, guys. It's okay. But it's just what I think right now, here and now. So it's my actual understanding of the text. I'm sharing with you my experience. You can double check what all these things means to you. It's pretty fair to double check everything. But if you trust me, you can have that experience right away. So let's read the last time and wrap up this video, this audio. Okay, so let's begin. The horizon was tinged with red, and suddenly the sun appeared. The boy thought back to the conversation with his father and felt happy. He had already seen many castles and met many women, but none of the equal of the one who awaited him several days hence. He owned a jacket, a book that he could trade for another, and a flock of sheep. But most important, he was able every day to live out his dream. If he were to tire of the Andalusian fields, he could sell his sheep and go to the sea. By the time he had had enough of the sea, he would already have known other cities, other women, and other chances to be happy. I couldn't have found God in the seminary, he thought, as he looked at the sunrise. Whenever he could, he sought out a new road to travel. He had never been to that ruined church before, in spite of having traveled through those parts many times. The world was huge and inexhaustible. He had only to allow his sheep to set the route for the while, and he would discover other interesting things. The problem is that they don't even realize that they're walking a new road every day. They don't see that the fields are new and the seasons change. All they think about is food and water. All they think about is food and water. Maybe we're all that way, the boy mused. Even me. I haven't thought of other women since I met the merchant's daughter. Looking at the sun, he calculated that he would reach Tarifa before midday. There, he could exchange his book for the thicker one, fill his wine bottle, shave, and have a haircut. He had to prepare himself for his meeting with the girl, and he didn't want to think about the possibility that some other shepherd with a larger flock of the sheep had arrived there before him and asked for the girl's hand. It's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting, he thought, as he looked again at the position of the sun. And he hurried his pace. He had suddenly remembered that in Tarifa there was an old woman, the old woman who interpreted dreams. Okay? That's all for today, guys. We had finished another piece or chunk of the Alchemist book, and we continue next time with another piece. And probably next time we will have bigger piece because it is like a dialogue there between this woman, the fortune teller, right? The old wise woman who interpret the dream. And we can discuss all of that all together next time. All right. Maybe we will make the split, right? So we will read the first part of the dialogue next time and then another part of the dialogue even further time, right? So it's enough for today, guys. Thank you all for listening. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you learned something new today. So I hug you all. I kiss you all, guys. And I see you very soon. Bye bye.